Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. I don't really like Thursday very much anymore. I used to like it, but now it has become my vacuum day. And I don't like vacuuming because it's pointless for the most part. But anyway, gotta earn my keep, right? And today I would like to talk about another thing I do to earn my keep, which is produce content. And some of the uncivilized comments that I've gotten, which I usually turn into more content. And such is the case today. Now, if you have been watching my channel, you might have noticed a week ago I wrote a parody called Bangin on Epstein's Isle. And that was a song that I set to Freakin' at the Freaker's Ball by Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. When I wrote that, I had a feeling that there would probably be some negative comments on it, that some people wouldn't like it, they would think it was tasteless, and I tried to keep it as tasteful as possible, given the subject matter. And I did write in the description that I don't find Epstein funny. I don't find any of that funny. It's disturbing and creepy and gross. The fact that we have a president who was close friends with a well-known child sex abuser and trafficker. All of that is very offensive to me. But nevertheless, this morning I did get a couple of comments, and I always wake up to these. And this person, calling themselves Paigey, was apparently very offended by my Epstein parody. And I don't know anything about Paigey because Paigey has nothing on their page. For all I know, it's a man or a woman or a non-binary person. I really don't know. Could even be a bot for all I know. But a few hours ago, Paigey wrote, "White with capitalized W, men, capitalized M, 2 question marks. All race men wear their, 2 periods." And I'm thinking, okay, so you're not a mental giant and you didn't pay attention in your grammar school English class where we learn how to write basic sentences properly. But this person apparently was upset because of this video where I used some AI-generated comic book images dreamed up by an AI generator. They're upset, not because of what happened on Epstein's island, but the fact that the AI-generated photos did not show enough of a racial diversity. They're not concerned about teenagers and young women being abused and hurt by much older men with a lot of money. And some of these young women, many of them probably are there because maybe they think doing that is the only thing they can do. They don't have family support, or they've just simply been kidnapped. At any rate, at least some of them certainly were not old enough to consent to what was happening to them. But Paigey here he's not upset about that. He's not upset that I made a song about that. He's upset, or she, or it, I don't know, upset that the AI generated pictures in that are not racially diverse enough. That's weird to me. But then Paigey came back and wrote, "Very poor taste." Double exclamation points. My initial comment was deal with it, because that's what they usually say to us when we complain. But then I deleted that and I wrote this. I find it very interesting that you're more upset about the men depicted in AI-generated comic book photos than the actual victims. Shame on you. I don't find the whole Epstein scandal at all funny. I think it is absolutely disgusting that we have a world leader. We have a man who is running our country, who has anything at all to do with that. And I would include Bill Clinton in that too. I was not a Bill Clinton fan. I didn't vote for him. I also didn't vote for his wife. I don't find that at all funny. But I was inspired to make the parody. And it is shocking to me that this person had the nerve to tell me that what I did was in poor taste. They're upset about my little channel with about 2,200 people following it, and most of them not following it regularly. The fact that I would put this out there, and at this time right now, I'm not writing this, but there are about 160 hits on that song, and this person felt that that's what they needed to focus on. That the men in the fake photos, and they're obviously fake AI generated photos, there are not enough people of color. Now, what do you think? I mean, it does make you wonder what kind of person Paigey is, if that's their focus. They're not concerned about the victims. So that's a shame. The other thing I would like to talk about, and I'm sorry, but it's already 7 minutes into this video, and I know that most of you are not going to make it this far, but I do want to talk about this because it's been something I have been thinking and writing about a lot this week, and I think that some people don't understand. There's a real lack of civility lately. It seems to me that a lot of people have completely forgotten home training, basic manners, civility. And I'm going to try to make this quick. I don't have children. I wanted to have children, but I don't have them for a variety of reasons. I won't get into it right here, but I don't mind talking about it, but it's a long story. So, but I don't have children of my own. My husband has 2 daughters. One of them doesn't speak to him because of parental alienation. The other one does and is on her 5th baby, actually. She's pregnant with her 5th baby. It's not her 5th pregnancy. She's been kind enough to reconnect and sort of let me be the pseudo granny. I am actually glad I don't have children. I would worry very much if I had children right now, and given the state of the world. So I was on Occupy Democrats. No, actually not Occupy Democrats. It was the other 98%. And the other day they put up a picture about why people are not having babies. They were lamenting, I guess the leadership in our country is lamenting that the birth rate has dropped. And a lot of people are choosing not to have kids. And somebody had written the reasons why, which I thought were very solid reasons. Climate change, fascism, the fact that you can't even afford to support yourself, let alone a family, in many cases. No maternity leave. Childcare is so expensive and really only available at certain times of the day. So those are good reasons not to have children. And I wrote on that, I didn't say anything about the president or really all what I wrote was, I'm relieved that I don't have children. I'm grateful that I don't have children. That was basically what I wrote. And some bitch comes along and says, we're relieved you don't have children either. Now, that may seem like a really flippant comment. And this is a random person, doesn't know me from Adam. In some ways, that makes it worse. Like, who the hell are you to say something like that to me? You're really nobody, obviously. And my response to her was, fuck off. And then I blocked her. But the deeper thing, the fact that if she'd have said that to my face, what would I have done? There's a good chance I would have loosened some teeth. Maybe. Or maybe I just would have yelled at her. Or maybe she would have seen the look of death on my face. But that's just not something that you go up and say to somebody you don't even know. It's not even like I said anything about her precious orange overlord, right? I just said I'm happy that I don't have children to worry about in this hellscape we're in. Oh, we're relieved you don't either. And in her picture, she had 2 little kids with her. I mean, I could have been really nasty. I could have said, you and your little crotch goblins can, go crawl back under your rock. Or it's a shame that your parents weren't more interested in masturbation on the day you were conceived. That's the kind of thing I could have said, but instead it was just fuck off. And many people would tell me just ignore it and do what I did or do nothing, which I find a very unsatisfying response. But for all I know, that person was a bot, so who knows? But it is a shame, isn't it? It's a shame that we can't have a conversation. You can't go on a space that is expressly for whatever your leanings are and make a comment without somebody just going way below the belt. But I make up a song based on an old 70s. If you know that song, Freakin' at the Freakers Ball, you know that is a song that is probably not, I don't know that it would be acceptable today because it's got some language in it that many people find unacceptable in 2025. We can't say certain words now, but we can have a president who has anything at all to do with Epstein. Go figure. I think our priorities are a bit messed up, don't you? Anyway, I'm still glad that I don't have children. I would have liked to have had children, and it would have been interesting to see what kind of child I would have had. But I'm kind of glad to know that I'm not going to have to worry about any of my future progeny having to deal with the way we're going and the messed up priorities that people have. So that's about all I have to say. And if you made it to the end, thanks for listening. You'd be among the few and proud. And I'm going to get on with my Thursday. Will there be a parody today? Possibly, but there could be a straight song, or maybe you won't hear from me for a while. I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder if there's really any point to making these videos. But anyway, have a good Thursday. See you next time.